Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Planet X News. It is April 7th, 2019. And ladies and gentlemen, I've made another discovery, another Planet X discovery and capture just earlier this morning. You know, it's really been bugging me about the missing data on the SEEDS website. I spoke about it just a couple of days ago, and you know, I've said from time to time that there is no doubt that, you know, the boys in blue over there at NASA, world governments, whoever, you know, they're definitely trying to shroud this mystery of Planet X and what is happening to our planet. There is absolutely no doubt. There has been deception within world governments. Oh my Lord, we can go back 100 years, 200 years. But anyways, a lot of you have been sending me emails and inbox messages pertaining to our magnetosphere, our Earth shield that protects us from the sun, and how it has been weakening. And you know, I try to answer as many of these emails as I can on a daily basis. You know, folks, I get, you know, sometimes 300, 400, 500 emails a day from people all over the world in different languages. And, you know, some of them I have to translate. Some of them come from Google already translated, but, you know, it's a lot of work. So I do monitor our magnetosphere every single day. And I have been noticing a lot of anomalies. I have been noticing for about the last, well, I would say about the last 9 months, I've been noticing the solar wind speed. And when we refer to that solar wind, for anybody who's a newcomer or doesn't understand the solar wind, it's not actually a wind. Those are the heavily charged electrons, the heavily charged particles that are streaming from coronal holes, and we always refer to it as the solar wind. When those heavily charged electrons impact the Earth and our magnetosphere, and as of lately, they've been making it through in larger numbers. And, you know, that has the ability to increase the pressure internally within side of the Earth's core. And many scientists over the years have, they've done reports and they've issued papers and they've written reports on how this can induce earthquakes. And you still have your skeptics out there that say that's impossible, blah, blah, blah. But if you watch the YouTube channel Suspicious Observers and you listen to what Ben Davis has to say, you know, he always does his solar report. And then when we have these situations where we have a coronal mass ejection that was Earth facing, or we're going to be impacted by a heavy solar wind, he will mention earthquake watch, earthquake watch. You know, and Ben is a scientist. You know, he's just not some YouTuber. The man is a legitimate scientist. Now, he is not going to delve into Planet X theory. Once again, he has his reputation to take care of, like a lot of other professionals. They're just not going to do it. So, I will do it. And over the years, I have made some absolutely outstanding observational captures of this object. And today is no different. Once again, I've captured this object. You're looking at it on your screen right now. I captured it on the SECCHI SREM, S-R-E-M imaging. And, you know, something kind of funny happened while I was analyzing data from March 29th through today. Well, I was very lucky, once again, very, very lucky to capture this object as it was skimming by. And I took one screenshot. And then I hit the backwards button on my computer, and I wanted to now capture this in video. And because the SECCHI site is not secure, you got to go through a couple little loopholes to actually get into the site, because it tells you that it's not a secure site. Let me take a sip of my my dragon coffee here. Man, is that stuff good. But anyways, as I was going back to screen capture the actual recording, I couldn't get back in. The SECCHI website kept taking me back to that security screen. I don't know why. It's never done that before. So I exited all the way out of my browser, and then went back. And I could not get back in. I could only get to that portion, which is the security check telling you this website is not secure. Do you want to proceed? Hit advanced, yes, blah, blah, blah. It just would not let me back in. However, as I was watching the video setup in the very beginning, I noticed that there was a skip in the footage. And when I see these skips, that tells me immediately that they deleted some data, maybe a few hours, maybe a day or 2 days. And I replayed it real quick. And when I was watching the timer and the date stamp go by, they deleted the entire day of April 4th. Now, if you remember my video from the other day talking about the Seeds website, how they did not have any data for April 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Now we have data for, the 5th, the 6th, and actually they're in UTC time, so there's data for the 8th, which we're not into yet, but they use universal time. So that really got me going. And I went back and I was about to screen capture that data, and bingo, that's when I could not get back in. However, I did get the screenshot, and I'm going to go over the filtered versions of this because it is just absolutely amazing. And again, you have all of these people out there that doubt that this object exists in our inner solar system. And hey, you know what? That's their prerogative. They can go on to believe whatever they want to believe, but the facts are the facts, and we are now truly seeing these effects here on Earth. There's a lot of things going on this planet, and none of it is good. None of it is good. Now, I just listened to an interview early this morning, and the interview was with a reporter from, I believe, Fox News and a Nebraska farmer who grows corn. They were out there standing in his field, which is just absolutely massive. It looked like hundreds and hundreds of acres, and it looks like a lake. And the reporter said, we're not, he's like, folks, we're not standing in a lake or on a lakefront. We're actually standing on this farmer's property where he grows corn. And the farmer admitted, he said, listen, we should have already been, plowing the ground and getting ready for our planting season. He said, as you can see, that's not going to happen. And folks, this is going to cause food prices to go sky high. We may even see prices in gasoline go up because a lot of farmers They sell their corn to the governments and the petroleum companies for the ethanol. The gasoline is 10% ethanol, which comes from corn. And a lot of these farmers have chosen to take that route because they have a guarantee that every bit of corn they grow is going to be sold, boom, at that price. And that has bailed a lot of corn farmers out over the years by adding this 10% ethanol to gasoline. But anyways, getting back to the part where a lot of you are asking me about the magnetosphere. And I've been monitoring this for forever, folks. I do it on a daily basis. And like I said, for the last 9 months, I have noticed that the solar wind speed, which is measured in kilometers per second, has been very, very slow. I would almost use the term, it's been soft. 300, 350, 400 kilometers per second. Now, usually we see it in ranges of 700, 800 kilometers per second. I have noticed today that there have been several bursts of the solar wind that have almost exceeded 2 million miles per hour. And that's just the conversion. So we're converting 800 kilometers per second to miles per hour, which would be about 1.8 million miles per hour, if that makes any sense to all of you. I hate math, but it is what it is. So, I've never really seen this solar wind that slow on a regular basis. And again, I've been monitoring this now for like 9 months. And, I have my own theories that I'm developing, and I've been thinking very hard about this. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull up the model now so we can take a look at this. Oops, here we go. Let's get out of here, and we're going to jump over here. Let's expand this screen. And I'm over here at the NOAA Space Weather website. And we're looking at the geospace magnetosphere. These are the daily movies. And you could see this is for today, April 7th. And again, right up here, you'll see this is in universal time. We're looking at the velocity. The speed of this solar wind. And as I was watching this morning, I did notice a lot of fluctuations, and I noticed a widening of our magnetopause. And you can see it there, it's fluctuating. When I mean fluctuating, this big area right in here. And this is showing me a telltale sign of a lot of increased pressure. Now, we're going to go and we're going to jump into a lot of other things with this magnetopause real quick. And this is the actual density. And if you watch right over here, you will see these dark waves coming in. And this is signifying that solar wind. It's almost like a pulse that is coming in. And you can see it right on your screen. It's coming in wave after wave after wave. Now listen, this doesn't have anything to do with Pastor Paul Begley's and Mike from Around the World's 5 waves of energy, because that's all nothing but a bunch of bullshit. Okay? There is no 5 waves of energy. If anybody is listening to that crap, stop listening to it, because it's all fake. It's all meant for YouTube views. It doesn't exist. It's all fake. Anyways, so you see these pulses coming in. These pulses are coming in because those are the pulses coming from the solar wind. Normally, that solar wind would be steady. It would be a steady influx of the solar wind, these heavily charged particles impacting the Earth. But again, over the course of these last 9 months, I've been monitoring this very, very closely. And this is when I started to notice these waves, these pulses coming in. And at this particular time, we do have some coronal holes on the surface of the sun facing the Earth. They're not one big gigantic one. They're kind of sparse and kind of all over the place. And they are emitting this solar wind. So the density has actually increased. Now, let's go down here and we're going to take a look at the pressure. And this is where I started to notice some really weird things. And if you just watch in this region, you're going to start to see these huge fluctuations. And I know a lot of you aren't real deep into this science and trying to explain the Earth's magnetic field and the sun's magnetic field. It's a little difficult. If you guys really want to fully understand it, it's gonna take a little bit of homework. You're gonna have to read quite a bit. That way you understand it. And it's even hard for me to explain it. But what I've been noticing is there is a very, very high possibility, and I've mentioned this before, that the magnetic field of this stellar core object, this Planet X object, this magnetic field is definitely interacting with the sun's magnetic field. Our magnetic field works off of the sun's magnetic field. So therefore, I've mentioned this also, as we go into this solar minimum, which we are right on the cusp of diving into it, which is an 11-year period of very low solar activity, that is going to affect our magnetic field, our protection, our shield, our magnetopause. It will weaken. As our magnetic field weakens, that allows more of these heavily charged particles coming from the sun, solar radiation, to impact the Earth, therefore heating up the Earth. Now, folks, a lot of you have serious questions pertaining to chemtrails. Why are they chemtrailing? Why all of this newly divulged information about stratospheric aerosol injections? Why are they coming out and now talking about this? Because they have to, folks. They have been trying to prevent this now for a long period of time. I was out yesterday, the better part of the afternoon, and I recorded all of the chemtrailing going on right above my head. I noticed some very, very weird cloud formations, which I'm going to show you. I captured a cloud that sat in front of the sun for an hour, and it was square, like a box. I'll show you exactly what I caught. There's a high possibility that, I don't know, maybe they have a way of developing smart clouds. I don't know. But things are getting really weird in the skies above. There's no doubt about that. But this is where we're at right now. The Earth is literally under siege from everything that is coming from the sun. And folks, again, we are only in the beginning stages of this. We already see the massive anomalies with our weather. The weather is going to get more and more severe. I did a complete weather report yesterday. I'm going to continue to do those. And everything that I talked about in my long-winded weather report yesterday, hours later, it already started to come true. Then I'm getting emails from people in the country of Greece that follow Planet X News, and they're telling me, Scott, you have no idea what is happening in our country. Floods like you would not believe, raging floods. And I was able to take a look at some video footage, and yes, it's very, very bad. The same thing's going on in Iran. I mean, it's just insane. And then up in some of the Nordic countries, my God, they got 13 feet of snow, 5 feet of snow falling in 48 hours. Same thing in northern parts of Italy. Weather anomalies everywhere. And now, all of a sudden, all of the moderate air temperatures are about to rise in the southwest part of the United States. So again, we have so much to cover, so much to watch on a daily basis, and this is going to continue. And you're looking at the reason why. Our magnetosphere, our magnetopause is weakening, and it's going to weaken even more as we move further and further and further into this grand solar minimum. And folks, I'm telling you right now, I'm not fear-mongering, but it is going to become a very, very dangerous situation, no matter where you live on this planet. As long as you are above ground, you're going to experience it. As time goes on, I wouldn't even recommend being out in the sun, even under, the sun simulator. A lot of you still don't believe, excuse me, a lot of you still don't believe in this sun simulator, but I'm telling you, there is plenty of evidence that they are simulating the sun, maybe not all of the time, but the majority of the time. That is a fact. That is an absolute fact. But anyways, I'm going to jump out of this screen, and we're going to go ahead. Let me get out of here, and we're going to move to the ISWA site, and I'm going to show you some of these anomalies that are occurring now. Let's go ahead and open up this screen a little bit more. And again, this is all current. And if you look at the blue IMF, the interstellar magnetic field lines, these blue lines here that you see, these come from the sun. Okay, and again, you'll see these pulses come in. You'll see the color change here, and you see how bright red and illuminated the bow shock or the bow shock is right in front of the Earth. And this is supposedly where this solar wind should bounce off of. But you know, folks, it's making its way through. There's no doubt about it. Okay, and we're seeing these anomalies, and you could see the pressure build up behind the Earth. This is somewhat normal, but we're still seeing some very, very strange occurrences. And this situation, it's going to get worse. Now, oops, let's go ahead over here, and I'm going to widen this out. And this is our magnetopause right here. And again, this is all current and fresh and new data. And this gives you a really good example of the bow shock, this white curved line right here. And we've seen this thing contort and contract really wildly over the years. But that was during a time when we weren't going into this solar minimum, and we were getting impacted by coronal mass ejections and things of that nature. But I've never seen this kind of weird ripply effect occurring behind the Earth. You know, you have the dark side of the Earth and the illuminated side of the Earth, sun facing and the dark side. And you could see this. This is very, very odd. I don't know what is causing that. It's like one of the first times I've seen something like that. And you can see on the dark side of the Earth, you can see how intense this is. And it really shouldn't be that way, because our magnetopause should be deflecting all of that solar radiation coming in. But it's making its way around our magnetopause, and it's getting sucked back in to the back side of the Earth. And look at that. I've never seen anything like that. And I've been watching the ISWA website for years and years and years. I've seen kind of crazy looking anomalies before, but I've never seen anything like that before, and I can't even explain it. Only other than, this energy is making its way back around. It's looping back around, and we can see this in the radiation model, which I'll go ahead and pull up and I'll show you guys now. And this is what I'm talking about here. Go ahead and widen this out. And again, this is all current information. I've actually set it back 2 days so we can see the influx of these heavily charged particles coming in. And these are measured in kelvins, which is a heat measurement. And don't ask me to explain it. It's a little difficult. But you can see the normal color would be this green color here, a little bit of the yellow, but you could see the intensity in the color code bar right here. And you can see that radiation. You could see those heavily charged electrons just wrapping around and engulfing the entire Earth. Now, the dotted line is the satellite belt. That's the area where the majority of the satellites travel around. And you can see it just engulfs the Earth. Now, we've seen much, much worse than this. We've seen it to the point where all of this area is just completely red. But this has become something that is just regular now. And it's not good. Every once in a while, okay, no big deal. We're dealing with planetary and solar dynamics. But now we're starting to see it almost on a daily basis, which is not good. Folks, I'm telling you right now, from this point on, we are definitely going to see heavy increases in skin cancer and, people that are out there during the summertime, recreation. Listen, you need to protect yourself. And a lot of you may or may not agree with me. It's on you. But I would not allow my kids, especially small children, running around out in the hot early and midday sun with no shirts on, no protection, no sunscreen. You are going to do a lot of damage to those little bodies. And I mean from, toddlers all the way through teenagers. The same thing, is going to happen to an adult. But there are reports out there, medical reports, that do talk about this type of solar radiation harming children a lot more than a grown adult. I mean all the way into their DNA. So just let that be a warning for all of you, because summertime is right around the corner. And I think that in certain parts of the world, in certain parts of this country, the extreme heat is going to be pretty bad. We may have parts of the country that may have moderate temperatures throughout the summer, but I think we're going to have a lot of areas that are going to have very extreme heat, and that's going to be around the entire northern hemisphere of this planet. So you can see how this affects the Earth. Now, as this comes in, these heavily charged electrons, that is what creates, we're going to go over here to the solar wind. And that's what I'm referring to when we talk about the solar wind. And these arrows, you see these arrows right here? Do you see how they keep reversing back towards the dark side of the Earth? This is coming from the sun, these arrows. The length of the arrows signify the speed, which you can see over here, and that is in kilometers per second. Now, I clocked the highest speed on this model at 800 kilometers per second, which is equivalent to 1.78 million miles per hour. And again, you can see this red area here where things are more heavily charged, and you see a change. You'll see the the density right here in the center. But you see these arrows changing direction. And that is probably what is causing this influx of electrons on the dark side of the Earth. It is getting sucked backwards, just like this. So, yeah, there's a lot going on with our magnetosphere, the Earth's magnetic field. And I'm going to be honest with you, I mean, it definitely has me worried. We rely on that magnetic field to protect our planet. You know, that's like the difference between having a bulletproof vest on and not having a bulletproof vest on. If I have to use an absurd analogy, that would be it right there. I prepared a little video to show you guys what is actually happening on the sun right now. We're over here at the Solar Dynamics Observatory, and all of a sudden we have a very, very active region of the sun, and it is going to be turning towards the Earth. Oh, I would say probably within the next, well, 3 to 5 days. And as you can see, the position of this very active region right here, it's going to be pretty close to the equatorial region of the sun. We are just a little bit below the sun's equator. So, whatever's happening over here right now definitely has the potential to affect us in the very near future. And I mean within the next couple of days. Now, we're over here at the 211 angstrom of light, the purple view, and you can see these coronal holes. They're kind of sparse. They're kind of wide open. You always have this one down here on the bottom of the sun now, but this is kind of sparse. This may be the reason why we're seeing those pulses of the solar wind. I'm not too sure about that. But what I am looking closely at is this region over here, because that will be Earth facing in the next several days. And that is a very, very active region. We could be dead center in a coronal mass ejection if that explodes. Now, we're looking at the 334, or excuse me, the 334, 335. My goodness, my brain's fried. To the 304, sorry. And once again, you can see this area, and it's just it's pretty well electrified. A lot of filament releases. There's even some activity down here going on. And usually, you know, the sun going into this solar minimum, you really wouldn't see too much of this, but we're seeing a good bit of it with this active region here. Pretty cool to look at. You know, the sun's an amazing creature. I'm going to go ahead and check this out right here. We'll get this playing. But I did some work today on the helio viewer, and I have a pretty cool short video of this active region, and I'll go ahead and pull that up and you guys can see it. But this is definitely worrying me right here. You can see it. And again, that is just slightly above the sun's equatorial region. So we're going to go ahead and jump out of here. And you could already see on the current earthquake map, I mean, we've already got a considerable amount of earthquakes, magnitude 5.7, San Antonio, Chile, 4.8, Nicaragua. There was a lot of activity right up here in Alaska. Your minor, everyday, run-of-the-mill activity here in California. A new report has just come out from seismologists, once again, in California. They're, you know, I don't know, maybe it's their way of fear-mongering. But you can see the earthquake uptick has already started to occur, and this will probably get worse over the next couple of days. We may be looking at anywhere from 3 to 7, possibly even 10 straight days of heavy seismic activity depending on that active region on the sun that I just showed you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. We're going to get out of here. This is the news report that came out by CBS News. They were interviewing one of these California seismologists. I'll leave a link for this in the live chat. You guys can check it out. I also shared this link on the Planet X News Facebook page if you guys want to check it out. I'm not going to play the video because the people over at CBS corporate in New York, they're kind of like they're idiots. Excuse me. If you try to show any of their material, they immediately try to hit you with a content copyright strike on YouTube. But the link for this, it will be in the description box and the live chat. It is also available over on the Planet X News Facebook page. I wanted to show you guys this this quick video, and this is the active region that I was referring to, and I just snagged this up from HelioViewer. And why is it not playing? Oh, wrong video. So I recorded all of this from HelioViewer. And, it's pretty cool to look at, but this region off to the left, I mean, you can see it. This is close up, and I produced this in ultra high definition so you guys can see it. And a lot of plasma loops, a lot of filament releases. There is a lot of activity going on. And this hasn't even made its way all around. This is still kind of on the back side of the sun. So again, we're looking at, maybe 3 to 5 days before this really starts to rotate around and we get a better look at it. And I'm sure we're going to see a whole lot of activity from this energy source erupting on the sun. And it is spectacular to look at. It's pretty. But it's situations like this, folks, that are dangerous to the Earth, especially at this point in time when our magnetosphere, our magnetopause, is definitely weakening. Now, I want to jump over here real quick. Remember what I was telling you folks about the missing data. This is what led me to today's discovery. And I was complaining the other day, where is this data? April 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. Where is it? Okay, it's still not up here. And here we are on the 7th, and they have the 5th, 6th, and 7th. That data is available. There's nothing to show there. So anyways, let's move on to what I captured. And before we get into that, remember I mentioned to you guys yesterday, I was out and I was watching the chemtrail planes. And I'm not going to bore you with chemtrail planes flying through the air, destroying our sky. But about an hour after they did that, all the spraying, kind of weird. We were supposed to have a pretty clear day, and all of these big bubbly clouds all of a sudden just formed out of nowhere. And I happened to look up, and I'm like, what in the hell is that? Look, that cloud is literally square, like a rectangle. And, normally clouds, they flow with the upper wind, the upper air. And all of these clouds that you see here, these little white puffy cotton balls, they were flowing by. But this square object right here, that's what I'm going to call it. I'm going to call it an object because it did not act like a normal cloud. It stayed right there for 1 hour. I timed it. I looked on my cell phone, looked at the time, and I was out there for 1 hour. And that's what we got. Now, here's another photograph. You can see these clouds are moving by. But this isn't going anywhere. Look at the nice sharp angle. Yeah, look at this kind of hexagon looking shape right there. When I mean there's weird things going on up in the sky, there's definitely weird things going on up in the sky. I can't explain this. I don't know how this has happened, but it's there. Hey, knock it off, dog. Sorry about that. Hey, little wiener dog, this is my live stream, not yours. Take a chill pill. He wants to get into my coffee again like he did the other day. My poor little dog got into my coffee, drank a whole cup of really strong coffee. He didn't sleep for 24 hours. I thought the poor little thing was going to have a heart attack. But anyways, as you can see, folks, this is another shot of this weird rectangular looking cloud formation. And you could see all of these other clouds are moving by. And I took this photograph at another angle. I went way far down the street away from my residence to see if maybe it was just like kind of an optical illusion, but it wasn't. And there you go. Kind of weird. And then I walked to another location in my neighborhood to again see if I can get away from this weird looking square rectangular looking cloud. And it just stayed right there. I haven't done anything to these photographs. No color changes, no filters, no nothing. You're looking at raw data right there. And, you know, we've been seeing these weird cloud formations for a couple of years now. I started photographing them in early 2017. I caught a lot of them in 2018. And now, you know, people all over the world are photographing these very weird and odd shaped clouds. What's causing it, where they're coming from, I don't know. I'm starting to refer to them as smart clouds, because how could a cloud formation stay in one place for an hour as all of the other chemtrail clouds? Because that's what these were. These planes crisscrossed the sky, one after the other. I could show you the photographs, but I don't want to bore you guys. As I was taking these photographs, and this is kind of weird, you guys will find this interesting. With my naked eye, I saw something black zip across the sky. I was able to crack off one photograph of it. I couldn't tell what shape it was, but it wasn't an airplane. It wasn't any bird, because it streaked across the sky so fast, and I was actually able to see it with my bare eyes, going right across the sky. And then it just went further and further and further away from me. It was no more than maybe, a couple thousand feet in the air, but it was below the clouds, and you could see it right here. This little black, whatever the hell it is. I don't know what it was, but I saw it, and it was moving. It was moving pretty fast, much faster than a jet, much faster than anything that we know of. Oops, wrong way. And I lightened it up. I lightened this photograph up because I wanted to see what the hell this was. And this is the furthest I could zoom in. You can see it's kind of square on top, kind of, oval on the bottom. And whenever you get objects like this that are moving kind of quick and you take a photograph of it, sometimes the actual shape gets distorted. So that may not be the real shape of that object. Whatever the hell it was, it went ripping across the sky, made no sound whatsoever. Now, I was able to blow it up a little bit, and that is the furthest that I could get in. I don't know what it is, but you could see perfectly square. I mean, you could put a ruler on that baby right there. That's perfectly square. It's not heavily pixelated because I use a high definition camera, and the resolution is turned up, so it's not heavily pixelated. I don't know what it is, but I literally saw it with my naked eye. And that would classify as a UFO, an unidentified flying object. So that's what that is. Now, folks, let's get into the new Planet X discovery today. Now, let your eyes adjust a little bit because we're viewing this on the SECCHI SREM, SREM imaging, and it's always kind of bubbly looking like this. And again, this is where I was just getting ready to video capture this data, and then when I went back just to refresh my screen and get into the point where I was going to capture this, I couldn't get back in. But I took this screenshot first, and I watched this object go from here to here to here to here to here. And I said, oh my God, I can't believe my eyes. And you could see it's perfectly round shape. And it's huge. It's massive. The sun is right over here to the left. And the sun was spewing a bunch of junk over here. And that was coming from the spot that I just showed you guys in the video. That very active region of the sun that's going to be facing us in the next couple of days. So there it is. Right there, right in front of your eyes. And this is the raw photograph. And I went ahead and I started to enhance it so I can see a little bit better. And this is just taking out a little bit of the gray coloring. And again, you can see this perfect, absolutely perfect sphere. You would not be able to see anything like that in this SREM imaging if it was not truly a large sphere. Okay? So it's not some imagination thing going on here. That is a real object. That is as real as you know, pinching yourself on the arm right now, and yeah, you're real. Here is just a little bit of a different imaging color. Excuse me. And I just toned it down a little bit because I just wanted to make sure that what I was looking at was real and was there, and sure as hell is. And there seems to be a lot going on around it. And we're going to jump into the next photo. I lightened it up. Again, I just wanted to make sure that what I was seeing was actually there. And, you know, sure enough, you can see it. And I go through my own process of making sure that what I'm seeing is actually there. I have several different programs that I use. They're not, you know, they're not your little Microsoft, you know, color and draw programs. I have expensive programs that I've invested in over the years to help bring out these types of objects. This was a little bit of a color change. This was also converted into high definition, and you can see as I zoom in, you can see it doesn't pixelate. Okay, so there's no way that that was what the trolls refer to as a JPEG artifact. They like to throw that big word around even though they don't truly know what the hell it means. So as I pan back, you can see that object is right there, right in our face. And it's not too far from the sun. Not too far at all. Once again, this was a brightened filter that I added to this because I wanted to make sure, once again, that what I'm looking at is truly there. And it's right there. There actually looks like there's a smaller sphere right there, but that's kind of hard to judge on the SREM imaging. Just another filter, color change. And again, folks, I convert all of these photographs to an ultra high definition resolution, so there is no pixelization. And look, I'll zoom in all the way. You can see there are no pixels. Very, very faint. I think the amount of pixels that I convert these over to are close to 10,000 pixels per square something. I forget what the actual measurement is, but it's highly fine tuned, and I believe that is the Earth right here. And if I'm not mistaken, this was Jupiter. I forget. I should have labeled these two. That might be Venus. Who knows? These are some of our known planets. You can see the Birkeland current lines right here. But this object, dead center, in the middle of your screen. Again, no doubt about it. And guess what? The date of this photograph and those days that are missing on the SEEDS website, this came across the screen on April 1st, 2nd, 3rd, bingo, the 4th, right there. The same identical days of data that are missing on the SEEDS website and that are still not there. So whenever we tell you that they are trying to cover things up, they truly are. And they miss things. And guess what? I do my homework, I do it in a timely fashion, and I am right there every minute of every day trying to find this data. And again, here you'll see a little bit of a fainter color. I tone things back a little bit into what they refer to as a sepia format. And again, I just wanted to make sure that what I'm seeing is truly there. And again, high definition, put it right up in your screen, no pixels, no JPEG artifact, as they say, and it's clear as a bell. If you're looking at this on a large screen television or a large screen monitor at your home computer, you're going to see exactly what I'm seeing. If you're looking at, this on a cell phone, maybe you won't. I don't know. Here, once again, I just kind of tone things back a little bit. And there you go. Right there. There's that big bad boy streaming through our solar system. Once again, just another color change. And again, I will zoom all the way in. And there's a lot going on. There seems to be, in the actual video footage, there seems to be, if you look at these white areas right here, it seemed to be a large amount of what I would refer to as gases, or like a dust cloud. Sometimes when we're looking at these images, we can see the edge of the Milky Way galaxy in the background, okay? But we're not in that position. We're not. So what we're looking at is some type of gaseous dust formation that this object just literally came out of. And it's still enveloped in it, somewhat. That's why our view is slightly obscured. And again, this object is not emitting light. So therefore, it's darker in this image. Very, very, I'm very happy that I decided to start to investigate that missing data. Because now I know why that data never showed up on the SEEDS website. April 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. There is your reason right there, folks. This was captured on the SECCHI website, U.S. Naval Observatory website, And this object came across the screen from over here on the 30th, 31st, or excuse me, 29th, 30th, 31st, April 1st, 2nd, 3rd, bingo, the 4th. And then the data cuts off. They're always like 3 to 5 days behind getting data up on their website. Now that I've shown all of you this, they're probably not going to put that data up there. We'll see more breaks in it. And again, this data for the 4th, it stopped right there. They should have, or excuse me, you know what? I made one mistake. This went out to the 5th of April. The 4th, April 4th, was deleted. So this photograph, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. This photograph I captured, this was the 3rd of April. The 4th of April was deleted. The 5th of April, there was nothing. But I clearly watched it on the 29th, 30th, 31st, 1st, 2nd, 3rd. The 4th was deleted. The 5th is there, and then the video cuts off. So there you go, folks. Once again, Planet X News coming through with breakthrough information with our Planet X investigations. I'm very impressed at this photograph. This is telling me for a fact, once again, that our inner solar system has been invaded by this object going all the way back to possibly 2007 in the data that I showed you guys just a few days ago. One other thing that I want to mention, folks. Let me jump back here, get a nice, good, clear picture of this up here. This is the original. I keep mentioning our Planet X News private network, and it's going along pretty good. And yesterday and the day before, I am embroidered in this huge fight with YouTube right now. Just over the last couple of days, I have been going back and forth and arguing with two of their representatives in emails, and these are real people. I am complaining to high hell about them accusing me of violating their community guidelines. And they have put a strike against my channel, and I'm not able to live stream. I'm only able to record a video and premiere it like a live stream. And they're kind of sticking to their guns and telling me I may have to wait till June till that strike expires. And I have proven to them through at least, I think, about 7 or 8 emails that I have not violated any of their rules, terms, conditions, or policies. But yet, the little peons over there, they tell me, oh, well, we'll refer this to this department. And then I hear from that department. And then they tell me the same damn thing. So they're stroking me over and over and over again. I was bashing them so bad yesterday in the emails back and forth. I'm about ready to get my attorney involved, which will cost me about $500 to have him send a letter to their corporate headquarters and say, hey, listen, here are your rules and regulations. You show me where my client violated that. Because you're not telling us. You're not telling him. You're not telling anybody. I didn't do anything wrong. They just said, oh, you violated a community standard. Okay, what standard? So this is why I keep saying that this new private network is where I'm going to be in the very near future. I'm already making those moves that way. We already have over 111 members. We're going to be building that on a daily basis. And from the people that have already joined up with us now, they like it. They get their email notifications that I have uploaded new data. I'm able to do a video just like this, and I'm able to upload it to my private drive. And I've just increased my drive to, I think, 1 or 2 terabytes of data that I can upload. So I'm able to do videos, and I'm able to talk about the weather, and I'm able to talk about floods and chemtrails, and I'm able to show you things that I can't show you here. Now, I know, a few people out there, they were like, oh, I can't afford the $5 or $10 a month. I just can't afford it. I can't afford it. Nothing I could do, folks. I am sick and tired of being censored. I'm tired of it. It's been years now. It's getting worse. They're making things up to continue to harass me on their own platform. It's ridiculous. I did a video yesterday talking about a video that I captured of a chemtrail plane dispersing what looks like 2 different colors of chemtrail solution. One being the regular, white solution or compound, and the other kind of like a rainbow color. It almost looks like, when you spill a little bit of oil on the ground, oil and water, and the sun reflects off of it, how it gives that shimmery rainbow effect. But the thing about it is there was no sun or sun simulator in the sky. I got a really, really good up-close view of this plane dispersing what looks to be 2 different chemicals all at one time. The white solutions were coming from the outside of the wings, and the other was coming from the inside and near the rear of the plane. I can't show that to you here. So I did a personal video on it yesterday, and I put it all together, and it is up on our private network. And that is what I'm going to be doing more and more and more of. Dr. Albers is going to be working very close with me to do the same thing. Also, we're going to be making her reports available on that 1 terabyte or 2 terabyte Google Drive. Okay? You won't be able to download them. You won't be able to change any information. You guys can take screenshots, and if you want to do your own videos using the screen sharing, you can do that. We're moving to that very, very quickly. And before you know it, folks, that's it. They're going to pull the plug on more and more truth channels on the YouTube platform, and that's that. When Mike Adams, the health ranger, whenever he put together his own platform, kind of try to make it like YouTube, he started out doing very, very well. It's a very, very expensive process. As I've mentioned, it costs tens of thousands of dollars every single month to have these servers. And then he almost got the rug pulled out on him a couple of weeks ago, dealing with that situation over there in New Zealand. If you guys all know what I'm talking about, I don't even want to mention it. He actually was basically held hostage, and the server company told him, if you don't pull all of those videos and get them off of your main site and all of those channels, we're going to shut you down. We are going to turn you off like a light switch. and it pissed him off. But he wants to keep his site up and running, and he had no choice. They literally put it to him. He did a long video about it. He issued a public statement about it. I got the email from him concerning it. I watched the entire video, and he laid it all out there. He's like, look, folks, there's nothing I can do about it. So, once again, those are some of the main reasons why I am moving to this private network that I've developed. And I got a few, cranky emails from people, criticizing me that, oh, well, why are you making us pay for this data? It should be free. Listen, folks, don't complain to me. Complain to your governments and complain to YouTube. Complain to Facebook. Because I am sick and tired of dealing with them. They waste my valuable time. I don't have any more time to waste with these people. That is why I am doing what I'm doing. And it's working out great. I'm able to get information up on my my private network page instantaneously, and it's a lot easier. I don't have to make continuous videos. I don't have to deal with the trolling operations on YouTube and Facebook, because they're absolutely ridiculous. And speaking of those fools, boy, some crackpot, I get kind of weird death threats all the time. And some weird crackpot sent me a really, really nasty death threat 2 days ago. And the guy said, I am a hardcore truther. And something about the Second Amendment. And then further on down in his little cryptic email, the guy flat out told me that if he ever finds out where I'm at or where I live, he'd like to come to my house and blow my effing head off. Wow. Hey, thank you for such a nice email. So there you go, folks. A lot of you have questions about why we're moving to this private network. Those are your reasons. I'm tired of getting death threats. I'm tired of dealing with these silly, idiotic people. Plain and simple. If you truly want to stay in the loop, then where there's a will, there's a way. I'm glad I was able to bring this newly developed information to all of you today on this beautiful Sunday morning. And if any of you have any questions regarding these photos, inbox me on our Planet X News Facebook page. If you are already involved in our private network, you can click on that message button. You could send me a private message there. You guys can email me. It may take me, 3 to 5 days or even longer to get back to you email wise. But here you go, folks. Here's the newest capture. Now we know why they didn't have any of that information up there on the Seeds website on April 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Why? You're looking at it right there on your screen. This is Scott from Planet X News. Thank you for watching. Folks, have a great Sunday. Be safe out there and watch your weather. Take care, folks.